No coughing walls, it's all good. That's what my mentor in work is today. She said, do that. So what, you feel the cough.
Okay, we're going to make a start now.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming. I know it's pouring down in rain. I even considered talking to shy really walking. But thank you so much for being here today. Today we are going to explore self-compassion. I would like to introduce my co-host Chris, who I'm sure you have all met. I'm going to let Chris introduce himself before I start off with the first activity. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Evening all, how's it going?
Good.
Hello.
Alright. Tell you what, I take this to great offence because this is beautiful Scottish weather, so I don't know what you're all complaining about. It's some of the nicest weather you can get up north. So as Peruta says, my name's Chris Christory, which is a nice Scottish name, as you can tell. I think some of you have heard my story before, but I'll do a really quick summary. If I start to waffle on too long, Peruta is she's going to give me a kick in the ass, I think. So yeah, when I turned 30, something that's really quite common for a lot of guys, I suddenly realised that I was a little bit off in my trajectory in life, and the way I found out was my subconscious just kind of went like that. Nope. It flipped everything upside down for me, and I was really struggling. Couldn't make decisions, couldn't progress through life, didn't know who I was. The reason I got into that mess was because I'd been burying something deep down in my subconscious. There's no great revelations here, by the way, don't worry. It's not something sinister and dark. And what I was burying was the fact that I'm a really creative person. I love doing what we're doing right now. It's my favourite thing to do in the whole world. What I ended up doing was doing an electrical engineering degree and then going to work for one of the most technical and engineering-y type companies you could imagine, which was the National Grid, the Electricity Power Transmission Network. It couldn't get any more technical than that. So I spent my entire life working in a completely wrong way that suited me. I was constantly battling my inner desire to goof off, make things up on the spot, not plan for anything. Yet what I had to do was plan, fill out forms, do maths without necessarily even the need for a calculator. So yeah, it was stressful work, and all the people I worked with I clashed with as well, because my personality style just didn't suit theirs. So thank God, bit of therapy, bit of drugs helped me to sort of get the balance in the head. No, prescription drugs. That's a different story. Oh, that's another side business. No, I'm kidding. But thankfully, I was able to get the balance. I could start thinking properly again, and then I could start to make some of those decisions. I always talk about putting the crap back in the filing cabinet as the antidepressants, and then sorting it out is kind of the work and the therapy to kind of get everything back in the right place. If that makes sense. So I then explored my own personality style. I explored what I should have been doing my whole life and learned an awful lot about something called being a pleaser personality, which is something that's really easy to fall into. It's a great strength and a trait for people that are natural carers, but it can be a real self-destructive thing if you defer your own happiness and your own preferences based on what other people think. It's like, I should be doing. So that's kind of the story, that's what I got to, and I created a process and a kind of really methodical approach that helped me to kind of put that together. And now I work with other men who are struggling in the same sort of way to kind of figure out their root causes and how they can change it and help them to learn more about the true person they want to be. So, I'm just keeping an eye on the time, Master, don't worry. So that's what I do now. I quit my job last year. This is going to sound a little bit vulgar, so excuse me. When I finished my career, I was earning 70 odd K a year. I was doing work that actually really suited my personality, finally, but I was still in the wrong environment. Opportunity for VR came up, and I was like, yeah, thank you very much, I'll take all that money. A year later, I've spent all that money, and I'm now very much enjoying starting my business, and that's kind of where I am today. The stuff I do today, the way I feel today, and the kind of person I am today is a totally different story. And I'll finish up this really quickly, just to kind of emphasize how powerful the journey can be. And this is totally showing off, but I don't give a damn. On Friday last week, I went to an assessment centre for one of the biggest consulting companies in the UK. They put you through an entire day's assessment centre. They have really high standards. They only take in a handful of candidates. It took 3 of us on the assessment centre that day. This will come as a big surprise to you. It was a big surprise to me because it was a busy week. I did no planning for it at all. I didn't plan the interview answers, I didn't plan my star response, you know, if you do your interview training skills, yeah. None of that crap. I didn't think about questions I want to ask. Oh my gosh, I was just I just rocked up and I was just myself for the day. And they offered me a job the next day. Thank you very much. And the feedback that I got from them talked very little about my technical expertise, which is probably just as well because I'm not that strong, but it was all about the man I am, the personality I brought with me, the fun I had even though I was on an assessment day, the compassion I had for other people in the room who were struggling a bit during the exercises. So what I bring today is a far poorer, but much, much happier and more content person. And so my goal is to do that for other people, and many other people as I can. So that's enough from me. The approach that I use does require a huge amount of compassion in order to let yourself get past having done something wrong for such a long time and not give yourself a hard time for it. I could think, and I did think for a long time, how stupid I was. Between us, I let my girlfriend in high school choose my university degree. That's how much I delegated the responsibilities I had for my own future. I was like, don't care as long as everyone else is happy. I lost my plot there. Anyway, it can be very easy to call myself stupid and give myself a hard time. But learning self-compassion and actually learning to kind of laugh at yourself and giggle at yourself a little bit is incredibly important. I'll finish with a really quick story. My piano teacher, I used to have a piano teacher, and I would get a wrong note and I get really frustrated and angry and that's a really negative place to get into. It's a fixed mindset state, if you remember our last session that I was at anyway. And so it would make it difficult to move on. He said he's got a client, a customer, a piano player who, as he plays along, he's almost like an eccentric madman. When he makes mistakes, he kind of giggles at himself and laughs at himself and enjoys the process of making mistakes. And he doesn't give himself a hard time for it. So that's what we're going to explore today and kind of see if we can give you guys some ideas and learn, more importantly, from you guys, because you'll have the best ideas about compassion and self-acceptance. Was it a question or? Just to put you on the spot, did you have a question? Fine, we'll leave it till later on. So that's me, I'm here today. I'm really happy to be invited along. Thank you so much. It's a real treat because I get to come and perform.
Thank you very much.
I can juggle, yeah. Do you want to see me juggle?
Go on.